Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Nice big group today. We've got a couple of random things to talk about. I think that the most important one right now is probably ETH Denver. It's on everyone's minds. We've got a bunch of folks here on the call working on it. So, Sam, do you want to give everyone an update about all things ETH Denver?
ETH Denver, all things ETH Denver. Okay, so first off, for those of you who are wondering where we are and how kind of the flow is going, I'm sharing my screen. This is Harmony.1 slash Denver dash plan. And so this is where just basically everything's coming together. We're putting notes in here. We're putting calendar stuff in here. Nothing. Don't consider anything in here gospel truth until like it's actually done, because this is basically where we're all coordinating it. So I first off wanted to let you all know that that is happening, and you can go there to take a look at how things are going. Now, because this call is recorded, I want to make sure that when people are watching this call, we want everybody to come to ETH Denver. So if you're on the fence, come to ETH Denver. Come join us. Come hang out with us. We are funding a bunch of scholars from both Layer 3 and Padawan DAO, as well as through Her DAO. So we're funding a bunch of scholars out there. It's $1,000 a head, but it's going to break out various different ways based on, some people are going to need more for flights, less for rooms. We have a whole bunch of rooms at the Grand Hyatt that will be assigning people to stay there, a whole bunch of rooms. So that'll be fantastic. A bunch of double rooms. And so, you can share and become friends. I know, Giv, you're very excited about sharing a room with Peter. I know how excited you guys are about that. And then, but then it's definitely happening. Most of us are going to be checking in on the 10th of February. Opening ceremonies for the build week happen on the 11th of February. That goes all the way through until the 16th. On the evening of the 16th, we are going to have an event/party. And then the next day on the 17th is the opening ceremonies for the main event, is what ETH Denver is calling it. The main event is, again, continuing finishing the project that people are building, as well as there's going to be panels and speakers and workshops, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, between the 17th and the 20th. And then there's an opening event on the 17th that ETH Denver is throwing. And then on the 21st is going to be the mountain retreat for those interested up in Breckenridge. But I just want to stay focused right now on Denver. So Essa is leading the charge. I don't see her on the call this morning. But Essa is leading the charge when it comes to making sure we get the actual names of people who are signing in to stay for their beds at the Grand Hyatt. So make sure you get in contact with Essa for that, for the people who've been approved. And then we will also be having, a bunch of merch and a bunch of events. We are bringing on some co-sponsors like DeFi Kingdom, like some of the other, projects internally, but also some non-crypto sponsors. And this will be really great because it helps us a lot of different ways. I mean, it's really good for event planning to have all these various different sponsors. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, for us, for the team, we would like to have as many of you who will feel comfortable in flying in this weather, this state of things, to please come out and join us at ETH Denver. I'm getting there on the 11th, and I'm getting there on the 8th, and I'm not leaving until the 24th. So basically, I'm living in Denver in February. And I'm getting there early because I want to settle some stuff when it comes to venues and things like that. So please, please, please come and join us. A couple of things that I will want. I have three main things about how to treat our scholars and the people who are building on Harmony during this event. Number one, I want them to be taught. Number two, I want them to be mentored. And number three, I want them to be empowered. So we're going to need to have a good presence from our engineers, developers, and technical team so that we can have regular office hours, regular mentoring, regular kind of how-tos in Denver. So just because you're a code jockey or a code warrior doesn't mean you don't get to come to Denver and socialize. So please make sure you all come out. That is kind of the quick overview. As you know, it's happening, and these happen fast. And so but things are going super well. Hey, Adrian, did I miss anything? He's driving, so he may not.
I think you hit most of it. There are some things internally with the venues that we have to secure for some of the side parties. We also have to talk about some of the offsite things that we are working on and solidify those. But the main thing that is the most pressing right now is getting the hotel list. The contract was actually sent today for the hotel. And that contract, I believe, has to be signed, I think, by Wednesday. And then we got a couple extra days, actually. So signed by Wednesday, I believe. And then in addition to that, we have to give them a final room list by, I'll have to let you guys know. They extended it. I think it's probably by Friday, I think. But they extended the deadline because they were supposed to give us the contract Friday.
Right.
Instead, it's Monday. So we get an extra day for pretty much everything.
Right.
But yeah, nothing is, obviously set in stone with the hotel. You can always switch it, but there are deadlines where you suddenly can't. So as of right now, things are kind of loose, but things are going to get really firmed up pretty soon. Also, internally, we got to book Breckenridge. It's going to be sold out. Almost guaranteed.
That's one of the things that we'll be talking about a little later. But I did want to, like I said, I did want to focus on Denver itself for this one. So everyone, please get in touch with Essa. Let her know when you can come to town. She'll get you on the list for a room at the hotel. And bring both your, number one, it's going to be at 5,000 feet elevation. So bring your oxygen tanks. But number two, bring your party hats and bring your business hats. Because this is going to be a fun event. Like, this is going to be big, but it's not just there to party. We are there to build. We are there to do outreach. We're there to meet community members and really show up in a big way. I think is a good thing. So there you go. Any questions on ETH Denver? I just wanted to cover that quickly. Watch for more details, but it doesn't seem like there are any other questions for now.
And Sam, for folks in the community who just want to learn more about the updates, events, where to meet everyone, are we publishing stuff anywhere?
Yes. So there will be an event schedule for community members. Essa set up, as you can, I'll show my screen again really quick. So this is, again, harmony.1/Denver-plan. As you can see, there is an event schedule for community members. And as that gets populated, right now there's only a handful of placeholders there, but as that gets more and more populated, people are going to be able to see more and more. For example, they'll be able to see, RJ's doing a workshop on, state sinking cross shard, states, try to say that 5 times fast. And so we'll have that on the specific day, right? So that's kind of the idea, is people will be able to see this, and this will be public.
Okay.
I don't have a vanity URL for this yet, but we will have.
We can move it to the public. Harmony.1/Denver is the public.
Is the public one? Yeah. I think that needs to be updated, but yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Sam. If there are no more questions about Denver, we'll switch gears, and I'm going to turn it over to Jack just to give us an update on the status of the network and our plans there.
Hey guys, Shudang. So there's quite a number of things that have been moving. First of all, wanted to thank the community members that reached out, volunteering to help. Some even mentioned they could work a little bit on, or even taking the workload of the RPCs on their system. So thank you for that. The update is we have expanded our nodes on the cloud by 50%. And we, at the same time, we're going multi-cloud. That means if a cloud provider goes down for some reason, like in sometime in November of last year, we'll have a sort of a backup, and we'll still be able to run operations that way. We'll also be ramping up with Pocket Networks again today. This was pre-planned since last year, and the ramp up will occur. And if there are any issues with that, please continue reporting to us. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, the engineering team has been working really hard to figure out how to catch up quicker with the network when it is behind, or to have a little bit of a resiliency through certain methods that will be rate limited. So we've been testing the upgrade to the new version 4.3.2 for the past week or so now. And the release for that binary will be public tomorrow. That's our target. Besides that, just on the node operations front itself, our partners are ramping up as well. ChainStack right now is tuning the setup. They have all the things installed. They just want to make sure that they're able to have the best-in-class hardware as well as network setup in order to help RPC services as well as anything else. Just a little bit more on that. If any node operators are out there and wish to download the chain, we are also providing an alternative to the chain downloads through a partner called Memo Labs. And they are in beta right now. So far, it's looking pretty good. Once it's released and ready to go, we will make the announcement. So yeah, that's what we have in terms of the network and infrastructure side. Thanks.
Thanks, Jack.
I have a question regarding the release. So my understanding is this release is mostly targeting for the RPC fix. So for regular validator, it's not really important, right? So, and also understand this release being rushed out internally, we test internally. But if it's not gonna impact any validation of the consensus, I feel like we probably need to create a special release. We don't really need everyone to update, and we just use it internally. Because there could be some other impacts on how people gonna use. We impose a lot of rate limiting our code, everything. That may prevent people from using it for generic purpose or for internal testing or anything. So we need it for our RPC endpoint, but not all the changes will be needed for other. For example, Exchange partner, they only use it for their internal tests. They don't really need to limit anything. So if we release it, we impose those policy and then change it over there, that may cause some issue for them. So I think we should create a special release and only include the change that will impact the general network validator. Shouldn't include the change for our RPC service, especially for all those rate limiting and all those like policies we added internally.
That's a good point. There are other improvements.
I have got one comment. So there is a change. There is a change that I will consider the sync service. You know, our DNS service, there are 4 DNS service nodes here, and these DNS servers are serving all DNS clients, which includes all our nodes. So there is a change, including so there is a bug fix and considering the state sync, desync status issue. So every six seconds, all nodes will send a get current height request to the DNS server. And previously there was a bug of the data race, so that it's not going to send only one request, but maybe tens of requests every 6 seconds. So this is the concern that I have. So with the previous build, there might be an extra load on the DNS server, and that will greatly affect the sync performance. So I think this is a potentially bug fix, and I think that should be deployed.
Yeah, and also there are some other fixes, like there is a like new pointer crash issue. They're like randomly hit by the validators, and there is a fix in the new version. Definitely the new release is not a mandatory one, but definitely there's some improvements regarding the relimit. So it's actually also an improvement. Basically, without the relimit, if even the validator node get hit by a lot of traffic, the validator node may have problems syncing, right? And we set the relimit relatively high. I think most of the normal validator, if they don't hit their node with tons of traffic, they should be fine without much problem. Yeah.
So the point
And
is
also-
that the fix should be separate. So that's why I would probably need a separate branch for the RPC changes. So I understand that some of the fix. So that's why for the May release should include only a necessary change. Because I actually, frankly, I saw, I mean, Exchange partner reporting a lot of regression recently. So I highly suspect there are some changes that we may not be tested enough. So that we should only include the necessary change to our main release. So for RPC, we should create a separate release for internal use only.
Yeah, we can discuss this offline.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to add was that we are receiving some feedback from a couple of our largest ecosystem partners, and their feedback over the past couple of days has been that performance has improved. There's still a few issues here and there that, of course, we're still working on, where, with some upcoming changes, hopefully we'll have those issues resolved. But I did want to share that feedback. Things seem to be running a bit more smoothly. And I know that there's, since this is being recorded and public, I want to mention that we do have a number of engineers on this call who's spent a significant amount of time, day and night, working on this. I just want to thank you guys for putting in so much work to try and improve services. So thanks.
Hear, 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 hear.
Good
Also
job,
to-
everyone.
To someone that's not on the call, it's late hours for him. So thank you, Soph.
Yeah, Soph. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for the update. Let's quickly turn over to some product updates. Ganesha, would you mind just giving us a few updates on a few upcoming releases?
Sure. On the Bitcoin Bridge front, we are making progress. Specifically, like I mentioned, two main items being like reaching out to external vault providers. So we are finalizing the vault program document with some incentives and so on, which will, after the finalizing in sometime this week, we'll start rolling out and reach out to people and see like how many are interested in running the vaults and so on. On the contract front, finalizing smart contract front, we finished one round of contract size reduction and some optimization, currently testing. That also, like in a couple of days, we'll finish it and send it for the review. So we are also meeting regularly on Thursdays. So in the next Thursday, this Thursday meeting, we can start working with the marketing team like Peter and see if we can start some program towards the launch. Yeah, that's the update on the Bitcoin Bridge. And on the Ethereum, trustless Ethereum, we haven't made much progress after the last week. We will restart some of the work and pending items. There's a clear task. We just need some resource to begin.
Got it. Thanks, Ganesha. Any other product updates from anyone? RJ, any updates to share?
On the cross-shard transaction, so last week I read through their design, and there's still some important design questions which I gave them feedback. So still in the iteration, still probably need 1 or 2 weeks for the final design, but we're almost there. Most of the major design kind of component already fleshed out. So just need some specific details about whether user need to send 1 transaction or 2 transaction, or whether the 2 shard need a one-way communication or is a handshake of 2-way communication, those kind of questions. So almost there. I think on 1 second finality is still the last update. There's no new update. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any other product updates? Okay. Lee, what updates do you have?
Okay, cool. So one thing I want to just talk about with everyone is let's push partnerships this month. There's definitely a lot of new engagement. A lot of the partners from last year, we just need to bump up in their queue and really move forward. So one of the nice benefits of me being stuck in an airport this past weekend was I went through the last 30 days of Telegram channels, and there's definitely a lot of channels where I know everyone's busy on everything, but we need to respond to just at least every channel, whether even if all we're doing is just encouraging the partner to launch their product. Some of it just can really be a very quick response, but especially for everybody on the biz team, I want to ask everyone to actually get to inbox 0 on all your channels. I actually do it every week. I might not do it every single day, but I do it every week. So let's make sure we encourage everybody to launch that by the time that we go to, and you can ask them to do it this month, so that by the time we go to ETH Denver, there's no more backlog. Everybody is launched, everybody's on mainnet, everyone's funded, whether it's grantees. We did 1 round of this last week with everybody on the grants team, but yeah, let's do that. And the other thing is Peter's actually gonna drive a once a week meeting, despite me not liking calls and meetings, but Peter will do this where we actually go through all the partners and make sure we are working through our backlog, make sure that all the major partners that we want to launch with are taken care of. And someone is if you guys see me, if you guys are in a Telegram group with me, sometimes I just very blatantly ask partners if they can launch on Tuesday. This is the day, right? And just ask for it.
So regarding the partnership, I do see a lot of conversation in Telegram and actually no progress. So do we have a place to track all the partner conversation? I thought we used to have that. So we kind of lose track on those, right? So that's what I want to make sure we know this.
Yeah, I'm working on kind of getting, we used to have a Google sheet that I was maintaining, which allowed us to identify all of the targets, kind of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and prioritize, and then where they are in the partnership pipeline. I'm going to kind of restart that effort, except I'm just going to move everything to Notion, and then have a meeting with all of the folks that are kind of involved in partnerships. And then one of the things that I think we first need to do is just kind of where we are, and then be really strict about prioritization. And I feel like we just need to kind of target the top ones and really spend our time in the wisest way. So, but I'm working on that, and I'll have something this week so that including the meeting, and then the Notion page will be kind of the partnership pipeline page on Notion is going to be the main page on which the partnership team kind of rallies around.
Great. Anything else to add to that, Lee?
We can use harmony.one/partners or harmony.one/funding. Those are both those. I've been trying to update those as much as possible, but yeah, we'll use that to track. And as Peter mentioned, he'll prioritize and help us organize.
Yeah, I understand the prioritization. So I think we just need to set the expectation right? Because otherwise, I met with a different partner. I'm trying to bring them in, and then once we start a conversation, there will be a follow up. I don't know, shall we bring in more partner or not, right? So
Yes.
we just set the expectation right. We just tell them, okay, we need 2 weeks to respond or anything, or something. Otherwise, I mean, people keep asking. That also feels bad if you talk to a new partner and they feel interested with us.
Yeah, that's the kind of the prioritization piece, because, you know, as we go to events, we meet folks, you know, there are some, and then teams are kind of referred to us. Some of these teams we may not even want to partner with. And so that's important to note. Some that are really kind of high value that we do want to partner with, you know, we want to identify those. And so it kind of runs the spectrum. But we'll have some more guidance as we kind of get organized.
And each partner should have an owner. That's already on the /partners page, but let's do that. Otherwise, making more Telegram groups actually is creating the opposite, because no one owns it once it's in a Telegram group with 5 people. So everyone, we actually just need to, with Peter at the meeting, like get on the same page about the practice and having 1 owner per partner. And we don't actually need to create more Telegram groups. It's actually creating the reverse problem now.
Great. Okay. I also wanted to give an update on our grants and the proposals that are coming through. We do realize that there's a bit of a backlog with the grant applications. The team is working hard to get through these, so thanks for your patience. Because of the holidays and just, you know, some restructuring with how we manage the grants, we're starting to work through them. So you'll hear back from us. I get a lot of messages from applicants asking, you know, when are you going to review our proposal? A lot of DAOs are waiting to hear back. We have put together a DAO operations team now. Sam will give an update next week on what we're planning to do with our DAOs and how to like really streamline the entire process, so you don't have to wait this long to hear back from us. But we will try and get back to all the applicants, kind of clear that backlog within the next few days.
Really quick, as you teased the update. So just for everybody on the call and everyone watching / listening on YouTube. So I've been putting together a lot of thoughts and research and learnings from the last 6 months of us doing DAOs. And so I'll be publishing a paper within the next week or so that Give has started calling the Manifest DAO, but I don't know if I like that title, but it is what it is. But the takeaway is it'll be finished. My first draft will be finished today, and I'll be circulating it for commentary internally and to a couple kind of DAO thought leaders in the mix. But we've done a lot right with the DAOs over the last 6 months, but there are a couple of things that we are not doing great. And that's really what that's fixing. Not only just making these DAOs operational, but making them be what we want them to be, which is a real decentralized, autonomous organization. Above and beyond just being a club, above and beyond just being, you know, a bunch of people in a Telegram chat. We want them to be a real organization. And so there's a bunch of stuff that you guys will see in the Manifest DAO. I'm gonna come up with a better name for that. But in any case, so just stay tuned for that. It'll be very exciting.
Good. Thanks, Sam. We'll cover more on that next week, I guess. And just finally, before we open breakout rooms, I did want to ask Abi just to talk about this excellent report that he put together about our kind of December achievements that I was hoping you could spend 5 minutes just going over.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I was initially thinking of a yearly highlights report, but we also had a lot of things going on in December, so I guess it made sense for us to just merge December and yearly highlights to go together. But I will also be working on a yearly highlights report very soon, which will come out very soon. I particularly like the one that Polygon did, where they broke it. They categorized it between DAOs, events, partnerships, and ecosystem updates. I'm actually working on that. That's cooking. But for now, I think some of the highlights from December is, of course, day one. We started with day one. We had the offsite. One Africa DAO got funded, which is one of our partners now. We have, I'm actually looking at the report right now as I speak. And of course, there's Harmony Careers that was open. ZKU one, which was also, I was closely working with Hakwan on all the highlights and the developments on ZKU, including the contest that was out. And that basically summed up the December report. And then, of course, 2021, as we all know, was Harmony's year, because we launched on mainnet in 2021. We opened the ecosystem fund. We were in Paris, we were in Lisbon. I was in Lisbon personally. And there are some great objectives and highlights. I must say that that definitely caught the eyes of our community, especially DeFi Kingdom. I love how we finished with that. We finished the year with that 1 million funding for DeFi Kingdom. So that's basically what I tried to capture in this highlights thread, which is on the blog. And just to give everybody a quick update on the blog too, because I know the last time we had the All Hands call, I said that we are transitioning from Medium to blog.harmony, blog/harmony. But I'm also, Peter's put me in touch with Z, and I know that soon we will also be sunsetting the Notion page. So I'll also be working with Z to see if we can actually start integrating the migrated articles directly. So that's it's paused right now, but I'm going to work with Z and see if we can pick that up. Apart from that, I do have, since Lee and Peter mentioned partners, I'm not sure how we're going to approach this, but I do want to share this with everybody, is that I'm one of the people that I met, Dominic, I think even Lee would remember, in Lisbon. He's actually working with I don't want to mention the name yet because they want to go for a stealth launch, but it's actually a Rari fork, and it's supported and funded by Rari. And as everybody knows, Rari it's not open source. So they're going to launch on 4 chains simultaneously, and they're very open to launching on Harmony, but they would also like to get somebody from the core team, somebody from partnerships. So it could be Peter or Lee on a call, and they'd like to discuss if we could co-invest. So that's something that is also cooking, and I'll see if I can get some updates on that. Maybe the best way to go about it is just creating a group and have Dom add his people. But this is something that I shared with Lee and Steven yesterday, and I think it's something that can be very, very interesting for us, because although I wasn't there at the offsite, I gathered from the recordings that I heard that some of these partnerships, outbound partnerships like Rari especially, can be of huge value to Harmony. So that's something that I wanted to share. But apart from that, I filled out some of the objectives that I'd like to see accomplished for myself for this quarter. It's on my Notion page, and I've also agreed with Peter to be setting up some weekly calls so that we can go over some of the marketing stuff. And I'm more than happy to help Peter with what he's building and setting up for all of us.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Obi.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before we open breakout rooms?
So I have some other updates. So regarding the hiring, so we definitely need to ramp up more on the engineering hiring. I've been talking with a third-party agency called Suited. This agency is specifically focused on blockchain, talent hiring. they've been working with more than 20 blockchain companies, like including Polygon, Coinbase, Crypto.com. So they're pretty experienced and specialized. So I've been talking with them about like getting more engineer leads for interviews. And their services are also pretty good. They have like a return service, which is not commission based. So you pay like a fixed amount for a period of time, which is not very expensive. And within this time, they do all the services like sourcing, like screening. They also have like a software platform for you to go through all the candidates, and that's pretty nice. So they don't just cover engineers. They also cover any aspect, on other aspect of the blockchain, like necessary aspect, right? Like marketing or other community management, anything that's related to a blockchain company. So if within your team or your area you need more headcount, or you need more help, like you want to hire more people for your team, just let me know, and I'll talk with them to like open up for that kind of area of hiring. Yeah, that's the update.
Thanks, Rajay. Anyone else? Okay. Have a great week, everyone. And I will speak to you all soon.